Welcome to the Trailchasers podcast.
This episode is presented by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. Icon just released the new 2.5 aluminum series line of shock absorbers. Built upon the proven Icon 2.5 series line, these new shocks feature 6061 aluminum impact extruded construction that yields the same proven performance characteristics with an all-new look and feel. Go check them out at iconvehicledynamics.com. And by Nexen Tires. We've all been wheeling on Nexen Tires for a while now, and we can attest to their capabilities both on and off the road. If you want to get some more performance out of your vehicle, go to nexentireusa.com.
Today on the show, we randomly talk about Marilyn Manson, acid, and Thunderdome again. Then the fun police shows up, and Cody makes us talk about our four-wheeling adventure we had this weekend. That's right, we went wheeling. Not all of us enjoyed the trip, though.
Allegedly, I went wheeling. And allegedly, Wrangler Rubicons are the king of the mountain, but it better be a dry mountain.
It's time for the Trailchasers podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin. Trailchaser, get out there and chase your adventure. Trailchaser, our time is now.
Hey everybody, we are live on YouTube again. We think this is the people in the chat say that they can hear us. So this is week one of streaming with the new EVGA computer. There was a little bit of we started about a half hour ago trying to make sure all the feeds worked and everything, and it sounds like we've got everybody in the feed. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, we're talking about...
Say something, Jose.
Yeah, I was going to say. So the guys are in their respective rooms. I'm Cody's in here in the studio. We've got the live feed going from EVGA, and I wanted to take a moment here to kind of reflect on our episode last week where we were talking about computers. You guys, our buddy Evan, you guys have both met Evan, right? You would consider Evan considerably cooler than me, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Evan says in email, I love building computers. I've been building my own since around 1995. Back then, even with Windows, you had to use the DOS commands to install the OS, and nothing was plug and play. You had to actually find and load drivers. I don't have any real reason to build any high power stuff anymore, so I typically just upgrade parts every few years. You're right, though. It is like modifying your truck or opening a can of worms. You always want more. So
more worms?
More. You always want more power. Sense. You want more RAM. You want more. See, I'm not the only off-road enthusiast.
You're opening up a can of worms, and then you always want more.
Yes. Yes. More worms. More worms.
Okay.
So my point was, we got an email from a listener who we all agree is cooler than me, and he also likes to build computers. So I think we're out there.
I don't know how cool he is now. Sorry, Evan. Sorry. You know what? Though I might have a twisted, cool is, might be something different to me than it is to other people.
Very different. They're very different for you. But he also had. He also.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop.
I was listening to that show this weekend, and I was laughing when we were doing that. It was the dumbest thing ever. He also had some feedback on last week's show.
Every week.
Yeah.
Keeps getting dumber.
He says also, regarding tire pressure, I have to disagree that if you go from a 30-inch tire to a 33-inch tire, that you would run the same tire pressure. As the air volume of the tire increases, it requires less pressure to maintain the same contact patch if your truck weighs the same. Guys running 37s on crawlers frequently run under 10 psi in the rocks, but 10 psi on a 30-inch tire on some vehicles will look flat. For reference, I looked up monster truck tires at 66-inch monster truck tire rims at 8 to 10 psi, and those things are catching huge air these days. So
it almost sounds like he's going to throw physics at us if we continue.
I know.
Talking about this.
If we continue to talk about real information, he's going to respond.
Yeah.
This is going to shock you. Can we go back to talking about computers or something? I mean, oh my God. I don't just stop with the tire pressure. Just tell me what pressure, dude. What pressure should I put on tires, and I'll just believe you. I'll believe you.
I understand what he's saying, and Evan, I also believe that it depends. I think it depends on.
You guys really are like simpatico, the two.
He's my people.
He's
so my people.
Peas in a computer
pod.
Tire pressure pod. Look at the two of you.
I think it also depends on the sidewall and the stiffness of the sidewall and what all that stuff too. So I mean, those 66-inch monster truck tires, the sidewall is much different, much thicker, requires less air.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of factors. I guess to simplify this for Matt, so his brain doesn't explode, is we don't know what tire pressure you should run.
I'm listening. Oh, okay. Let's just say that. Good enough. Please don't try and. You're going to simplify it even more.
We have no idea.
Air tire, good.
We know you need some air in the tires. We're not sure exactly how much air in the tires. You should probably talk to somebody else about the air in your tires.
As long as it doesn't look flat.
Yeah, that was the next step. Depending on the ratio of carbon monoxide and nitrogen and whatever, what is the mixed ratio of the air? What was the altitude that you?
Yeah, what about airing up at altitude?
Exactly.
Does that
Oh,
change?
you know what? I bet it does. I bet
I bet it does, dude.
Yeah.
I bet you it throws off.
I think we need a tire scientist. We need to find a tire scientist to join.
And ask them about computers.
Yes.
Yay. Now that's entertainment. Now that's quality entertainment.
Everything we've talked about right now in the last 5 minutes has been quality entertainment. Way more quality entertainment than the crappy UFO stuff you guys were talking about before we started.
We were just getting started, dude.
No,
exactly. You didn't even let it breathe.
No.
Yeah, you gotta let it marinate, dude. You gotta throw it out there. Let it marinate for a minute. Like, what about UFOs? And then that's when Jose gets going.
No.
And that's when the good stuff.
No, and
he starts talking about not Marilyn Manson,
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson doing acid.
Are they really any different?
I bet Marilyn Manson did some acid.
Hanging out with Sarah and Sirhan.
Oh man, I bet Marilyn Manson did his own share of acid
No doubt.
Going back to our computer discussion, just because I want to, and it's annoying Matt. Those of you on the live feed will notice that we've got some cool new graphics on our live feed that we made today to try to make it look like we were professionals, like we knew what we were doing. I don't know how it looks on your side, but I'm happy with it on this side.
I would like to thank you for not putting like a logo over my face. That's something you could have done.
I wonder if I can randomly.
I appreciate you not doing that.
That's funny. So we just gotta.
And of course, I'm gonna get that next week. I'm sure.
Just a happy face.
I'll just put for my sister. I'll put a picture of Henry Cavill's face that will float wherever Matt goes.
Oh man. I'll probably get a lot of commercials or something, like some professional offers at that point.
Maybe. I don't know. We got a message. We got a couple messages in the live feed chat. One from Cruiser Shooter that says, "Dude, UFO stuff is entertaining as hell.
Of course it is.
Dude, do not encourage them. We don't need that right now."
Dude, there was a video I saw. It came out. Somebody posted on Twitter the other day of a UFO in West Covina. It's 2 years old, and there's a helicopter just flying around it. There's 3 different videos. It was filmed from 3 different locations. What was that?
Yeah, it was Joe K doing an experiment on his new Wrangler. which we will get into in detail in a minute.
To the jugular?
Yeah.
Segway alert?
No. Do we want to talk about that right now? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
So hold on. I want to address David in the chat. Deech 615. He said, my name is David. He's from Bakersfield, and he's the number 5 Mexican that listens to the Trail Chaser podcast. Sweet, David. Appreciate it. If you can get like, Jose just said, thanks
man.
number 5. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. So segue alert, going back to the jugular of this weekend. So
I've only heard,
I don't know anything about this either.
Matt and Jose don't know any of this. I intentionally did not call them on Sunday. So let me set this up here. So we did decide to go off-roading. We've had, 1,000 conversations about whether or not we should do it, and we decided we could do it responsibly. We kept it very small. I know we're going to get some shit from people that said, how come we didn't get a call? Where's the invite, bro?
Hate mail to Matt at Trailchasers.
So we
sure, why not? Just do it.
We kept it really small. It was the 3 of us, my brother and Joe K. And everybody wore masks. Yeah, no masks, no hugging. Everybody kept distance. Even the kids were doing really good.
We robbed a stagecoach.
Yeah, with all the bandanas.
I got an audition next weekend, Knott's Berry Farm.
So we
went. And by the way, there was a ton of people out there.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So we went up to Green Valley and basically started Crab Flats Road in Green Valley that goes over into Big Fawnskin, and there were a crap ton of people out. I mean, everywhere. On the way up, on the way down, on the way up, and on the way down, because I went up twice. You'll hear that there was off-road vehicles everywhere.
But what's interesting to me is that, as you're going up the mountain, there was CHP like on the side, but they weren't stopping anybody. Like they weren't like controlling. There was no like control points.
No. I don't think. And we weren't like.
Dude, you can go out in public. You can go to the store. You have to practice social distancing.
Well, it's supposed to be essential.
Your mask.
Yeah. And we so I felt like we did a good job. Like, we went to the gas station. Everybody kept their distance.
I didn't make out with anybody.
Nope.
I kept my distance.
Nope. We did good. So,
I look at Jose. He's like, I know you want to say something. But yeah, we think we were on our best behavior. It was like perfect weather. Everything was beautiful.
It was actually warm. Like the weather said it was going to be like 60 something up there. So I had pants on, and it was warm. So nice up there. I wish I had shorts on. So we go up and I've got Presley and Tammy with me, and Presley, she's at the point now where every time we hit the mountain, she immediately starts to say, my neck hurts. I don't want to go bumpy. My neck hurts. And 100% it bums me out, but she sticks through it. And so I've learned that when she says her neck hurts, I think what she's saying is she feels the like the acid reflux in her throat. Like she's got an upset stomach and she doesn't like it. And so we get up there, we air down, we hit the trail, and I don't know, we were 15 minutes in maybe, and she's like, my neck hurts, I'm going to throw up. And she puts her hands over her mouth. I jump out of the truck, grab her out of the car seat, set her down, and she yaks everywhere. Everything she had for breakfast is now on the side of the trail. And I'll tell you, she's, for a 4-year little girl, man, she can throw up like a champ, like a college sorority kid.
I was watching her throw up. I was like,
whoa, okay.
That's creepy. Is it? I mean,
she's on the side of the road. Yeah, she's on the side of the trail right in front of his car.
Yeah, she threw up. The Exorcist.
Oh,
it was like that, dude. There was like a lot of force,
but like a champ, huh? Like she squats down a little bit, puts her hands on her knees, and just goes rip, and just lets it roll. And she doesn't cry about it. She doesn't get upset. She handles it like a champ. It was funny. I mean, sad but funny. So we got her cleaned up and back in the car. The route we took was a very mellow trail, but fun. Like I said, the 4 or 5 of us that were going, Casey left. So on Friday or something, Casey was like, hey, I think I want to go wheeling. I was like, I don't know. We'll see. Saturday night, it was like, where are we going to go? What are you going to do? And he's like, well, we're going to do this trip. But he had no information. So I mapped it out, and we get there, and I could have just not mapped it out because he just took the lead, which I'm not complaining about because I've told you guys a billion times I don't want to have to lead all the time, and so Casey took charge. Thank you, dude. So the trail was pretty. Would you say it was mellow?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I saw CX-5 drive by us,
A stock Explorer, a stock Durango,
stock Explorer, yeah.
So it was
more about the scenery.
Yeah, it was beautiful day. It was just to get the girls out of the house, and try to be responsible. And so the trail itself. This was the first time Joe K has taken his Jeep out. So if you don't recall, Joe K, our buddy that does the we'll call it the trail safety segment, he was in an accident in his blue Wrangler Sport a couple months ago. It got totaled. So then he was able to pull a new 2012,
a newer to him.
It was new to him. 2012 Wrangler JKU Rubicon, which is a step up, and he's stoked on it. He's already done a bunch of work to it. He's put bumpers, winch, the whole deal. He took as much stuff as he could off of the old truck and the old Jeep and put it on this one. But he literally bought it, and the world went on shutdown the week later. So he hadn't had a chance to take it out at all. So we get up there, and we're tooling. He's got his wife, daughter, and son with him. Matt has the boys. Jose's by himself. Casey has my sister-in-law, who actually my sister-in-law drove her own vehicle, her Ford Expedition. And Casey drove his ZJ with my nephew. So we're cruising, having a good old time. I don't know, guys. Anything between the start and the mud puddle, was there anything like super eventful or anything of note to talk about?
Just how many people were out there.
There was a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yes, it was. I've never seen. I take that back. Like on a big weekend, like down south or whatever,
4th of July or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think it was that packed, but it was definitely as busy as a normal summer weekend up in Big Bear. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't.
sure.
It wasn't. There was no indication of quarantine or lockdown in any way.
No.
The only thing that gave it away was everybody was wearing a mask.
Yes, that's true.
They drove by, they were wearing masks.
Most everybody. There was the one dude that sold his Harley to buy a side-by-side and wore the pith helmet in his side-by-side. He wasn't wearing a mask because he didn't care. But I mean, as a group, there was that one spot where we stopped that had the creek that was beautiful. We kind of hung out there. The kids got to kind of hang out near the water. And then
I was gonna try White Claw finally, but Jose ran out.
I was out. Sorry.
What? Yep. Did Tammy get your
I
last
only brought
claw?
4, and I gave the other 3 away.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Tammy stole one. So we get I'd say 3/4 of the way out, and Casey says there's this big mud puddle coming up, and it was a pretty gnarly mud puddle. Casey went through in his Grand Cherokee, no problem. Matt got in it, and dude, it looked like you were getting kind of gnarly. Like, were you bouncing around and slipping at all?
Yeah, I hit it pretty hard. It actually did damage to the curtain or the inside the fender well, the plastic sheet. What is it? What is it?
The skirt,
it's like a curtain or
the skirt.
Yeah, it actually broke it and pushed it back into the tire. So as soon as we got out of the pit, I didn't notice anything until I went to turn, and I heard something like grabbing, and so that's why I don't know if you guys remember. I pulled over really quick, and then just shoved it back into the bumper cavern. There's a bumper space, and I just kind of stuffed it in there, and that's how I'm rolling now. But yeah, I don't know if maybe just the mud was really thick.
It
or
was
dense.
Thick. It was gooey. It was a gooey mud.
Yeah. Dude, it is. It's all over my truck right now. I'm not looking forward to cleaning it.
No, my truck's a shit show. So Matt goes through.
I think mine looks cool like that. Like I'm kind of. I want to throw some clear over it and just keep it that way.
So Matt goes through. my sister-in-law goes through in her stock Expedition. I go through. Joe K goes through me afterwards, and then Jose goes through, right? So everybody makes it through, and like 2 seconds later, as we're starting to drive, Joe's like, hey, I got a problem. And he's like, something's dragging. And it seemed as though his fan had stopped working. So I theorized, and maybe someone that knows more about JKs can respond, I theorized that it's one of those electric fans, and the fan motor probably got a lot of resistance in that muddy water, and I think it overamped and stopped. So it tripped that amp breaker and stopped spinning, but the truck didn't turn off, so he kept driving. And then
me and him checked the air filter. It didn't look wet at all.
No, and I think the fan just stopped, and then once we turned the car off and then turned it back on, the fan kicked back on, and we thought everything was okay.
We get to the trailhead.
Yeah, we keep going. We had to stop. Didn't we have to stop one more time for him on the trail?
A couple more times.
Yeah, we stopped.
The Jeep bogged down right out of the pit, and then we stopped again because it was overheating.
That's right. Yeah,
and you have to check engine line. That's when we checked we opened it up, sat there for like 20 minutes, let it cool down. That's when we turned it back on, and it was running fine.
And so it was overheating a little bit. There was we thought about, maybe there was mud clogged in the radiator. So we got to the trailhead, to the trail.
Oh, wait,
end.
this real important point that we missed. Sarah, his daughter, was driving.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Through that mud puddle.
Sarah was driving, and we
I feel bad for her.
I know. I tried to make her feel bad. I was like, you didn't do that, did you? And I don't think she caught what I was saying. I was trying to make her feel bad about breaking the Jeep, but I don't think she broke the Jeep. So there was a little bit of an overheating issue, and he thought, okay, well, when we go down the hill, we got to the trail end. He said, I'm going to stop at the car wash in Deer Lick and clean off the grill and be fine. So something that we used to do, and I'm going to blame Matt for this, but we used to get off the trail end and then we would all roll together. Like we would everybody followed each other down the hill.
Leave no man behind.
Yeah. And Matt started this thing where he's like, hey, I'm on pavement, not my problem. And he just started.
I gotta get the hell out of here. Hey, I have a fully functional Nissan that never lets me down. I'm gonna get home.
Ouch.
I'm sorry.
We have to.
Sorry.
We have to remember that we do have some Jeeps with us. So
all right. I guess I gotta think about the lesser people,
the Jeep
who
drivers
have to wheel Jeep Rubicons. And it seems to me
there's a by the way.
I always hear about like Jeeps and water, like right. I mean, he had
think about the Renegade,
and his Jeep wouldn't work. His Jeep wouldn't work because it got rained on. And then how many times you hear about
his first Jeep.
Right, and then when you hear about Jeeps going through water and they soak up water, into the engine, they seize. It's always Jeeps that happens to.
Yep.
Like, why have they not figured that out? Because again, if you're going to go through puddles, you would think the Jeep, that's the vehicle that's going to do it the most. They should probably solve that problem.
Well, I read an article after the fact, at the end of the night. I read an article that said that the fan on that Wrangler JKU is the weakest link on the vehicle, and you should replace it immediately with an aftermarket.
Oh, all right.
So the fan got wet, and that's the issue.
Well,
that's the diagnosis.
That's an issue. So we all kind of take off. Matt's gone. I don't even know where Matt's at. He's at warp speed. I catch up to Jose on the 330 as we're heading down, and like I said, Joe.
Hey, we're mobbing pretty fast.
Yeah, you were doing good, dude. I was impressed. I was like, I'm just going to cruise behind Jose, and you ended up taking a lot longer. And I mean, you're going a lot faster. But Joe was like, I'm going to stop at the car wash. So I was like, whatever. I didn't think about it. I get a message from him. I'm almost at the bottom of the hill. I get a message from him. I'm dead on the road. What? So I pulled over. You saw me. I pulled over.
Dude, it was like a straight 90 degree. Like, oh damn, what happened? Maybe he has to throw up again.
I pulled over.
What did I do? I just kept driving.
Yeah, you kept going. You matted me.
I matted you.
You matted me.
Just kept driving.
And so I'm back and forth with him on text. What's going on? He's up at the dam. Hasn't even made it past the dam. And the car,
oh, damn.
the vehicle stalled.
Oh, damn.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, damn. And so I get a hold
Gotta
of
get some
Casey.
damn bait.
I get a hold of Casey, and I'm like, Casey, you're closer than I am. I'm already at the bottom of the hill. So Casey starts heading over to Joe to find out what's going on. Joe says, hey, I got to jump. I'm good. We're good. Okay, well, I'm fine. So he gets down. He said, I'm still gonna stop at the car wash. And I was like, if you've got an electrical issue, I don't think more water is gonna help. Right? Am I right? I mean, if you're struggling to,
I don't think water is ever going to help a Jeep from again.
Yeah,
from
No.
what I understand,
That's what it
just
sounds
keep it-
like, dude. Jesus.
Yes.
So he's like, he gets to. I don't think his intention was to wash it, but he gets over to the car wash, and he's like, vehicle's dead, completely dead. And I'm at this point, I'm about to pick up dinner. I'm like on the 60 on the freeway. Tammy and I decided we're going to pick up some dinner and go home. And I'm like, damn it. So I get a hold of Casey, and he was going to go down and check it. And then Joe was like, they got someone to jump him. And as soon as he would take the
Jump him because the electrical system got fried, or
so yes. So now when they would jump the Jeep to get it started, the minute they took off the cables, it would die. The alternator was only putting out like 9 volts, he said, 8 volts or something. So you've got
his alternator got messed up. His
So-
fan, his alternator.
yes. So now the fan isn't working correctly, which is causing the overheating. His alternator isn't working correctly, and it is completely
It's not giving out the
drained
right,
the battery.
voltage.
So now he's dead in the water. He can't go anywhere. At this point, I'm home eating Chinese food. And I was like,
you went home?
I was home, dude.
Oh my god!
I was home. So I'm like, all right, here it goes. So I went to AutoZone, picked up a new battery.
New alternator?
No, just a new battery.
Oh, you should have, dude. I would have bought the alternator just in case.
I didn't think about it. So our thought
Oh, wait.
was
You had to go back to AutoZone, didn't you?
no. So my thought was the battery's just done. It's not going to hold a charge because the vehicle's been running on the battery all day long with no alternator, or at least since the puddle. If the puddle caused the problem,
Yeah, since the puddle it was just on DC power.
yes. So I was like, okay, a brand new battery. Hopefully,
right?
a brand new battery gets. Yeah, that's right. Hopefully, a brand new battery will get him enough voltage to get down the hill, even to my house. Like, just get down the hill. If it dies again, we can AAA it from there.
My house. You should have told me. I live right there at the base of the mountain.
Yeah. So I go to AutoZone, pick up the battery, go all the way back up to Deer Lick, which is past Running Springs. We put the battery. He's already got the battery out. It's all ready to go. We put the battery in, and he's like, "I'm going to clean everything up so that as soon as we turn it on, I'm out of here." And that's exactly
So more water.
No. Well, no. I mean, like, he cleaned up all the tools and everything. We got everything in the vehicle, set the battery in, hooked it up, turned it on, and he took off. And I followed him down. And I'm like, okay, cool. The electrical issue is now, at least we know the battery's working. I was hoping that now the overheating problem would be gone, because my thought process was maybe the low voltage in the system was causing the fan to spin at a lower RPM, not enough. We saw it spinning, but not enough to draw air through. And the new battery with the correct voltage would fix that.
Yeah, but it's gonna drain that battery super fast.
once the car is moving, you're not using the fan anymore. You're using the air from because you're doing 80.
You would
Yeah, but
think,
or 55, whatever.
The fan supplements, even if you're going 80.
but if it's not hot out and you're cruising on the freeway at cruising speeds, you should be able to maintain.
It shouldn't be on.
It shouldn't need to be on the whole time. But we had to pull over 3 times because the Jeep was still overheating. So now, mind you, we're running on battery power with no alternator. The Jeep's overheating. We pull over to the side of the road to let it cool down. I looked at the water. There was no water in the reservoir, but there was water in the top of the radiator. So I thought, well, maybe there's just not enough water. We put more water in the reservoir, thinking when it turns back on, it'll suck it back in. It didn't. It didn't suck any water in, and the water inside looked red, like rusty red. So I'm wondering if maybe the thermostat is rusted and stuck.
Probably. Yeah, it's probably stuck open.
So it could be stuck at like 50%. Yeah.
Closed.
And
so you're gonna have to do a flush for sure.
Yeah. So now we've stopped. We're waiting for the thing to cool down so we can drive again. And in the meantime, the battery's draining. So we had disconnected every accessory we could find. He had everything off, and he was even on the radio. He's like, "Should I turn the lights on?" I'm like, "Not until it's dark. Let's do not use any electrical. We don't have to." And we're on the 210 freeway. We made the decision that instead of coming south to my house, it was about the same distance to his house. So we get to the 57, and he's like, "Hey, I think I'm good. My temperatures are okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make it to the 57. I'm gonna make it home from here."
You should have stayed on the 210 because that hill is pretty brutal, dude.
He did. He stayed on. He was on the 210 all the way out. When we got to the 57, I cut on the 57 south to come home.
I thought both of you did.
No. He kept going. No. He kept going to his house, and when I pulled in the driveway at my house, he called and said that his car literally died in front of his house as he coasted into the driveway, and he had to jump it to roll the windows up. He had to hook another battery up to have enough juice to roll the windows up. So wow. the moral, the takeaway here is I don't know if it was the puddle that caused it, but he's got an alternator that's clearly not providing power. He's got a second battery that's now completely drained because the alternator isn't providing power. And he's got a heating issue, a cooling issue in the radiator that, to your point, Jose, is probably because of a clogged radiator or a stuck thermostat.
Bad pump.
Could be a bad water pump.
Could be a bad water pump.
If this is an electrical water pump and you have all these electrical issues.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I looked. It looked.
Is it a mechanical pump? Is it a belt-driven pump?
It looked like it was to me, but I'm not. We were on the side of the freeway, trying to peek our head in. I don't know. I thought it was a mechanical. We wheeled
for hours before that puddle, and he had no issues.
Yeah.
You go through that puddle, and now anything that's electrical, you're having problems with. So either there's a short somewhere, or like a module of some sort, got cooked.
Man, we looked at fuses. I was looking at. I thought, well, maybe there was a relay, maybe there was a breaker or something. We could not. And I'm no car scientist, but we could not figure it out. I'm super happy that we were able to get him home. And I told his wife that it was my fault. We should have been following him down the whole way, especially, and Tammy's even said, she's like, especially after he had some issues on the trail, we shouldn't have left him on his own. That was a bad call on our perspective. We should have, for sure, we should have stayed 100%. With him. So I'll take ownership of that. We all should have stuck together.
Dude.
We'll let Matt go do his thing because Matt doesn't care. He's gonna go. He's gonna go do his thing. But we.
If you're trying to guilt me into feeling bad. Keep trying. We'll see if I get there. That is pretty shitty, I guess. I didn't even think about that. I thought he was fine. I really thought that he just had some mud in the radiator.
That's what I told.
Seemed like the easiest diagnosis. But the number, if we had waited up and he'd have died, that's what 10-minute drive from where we aired up to the dam, 10, 15 minutes, then we would have known, okay, there's something, there's something bad, and something happened.
And at that point, we're only 10 minutes from Big Bear Town, where there's still some stuff that's open.
There's auto,
my brother's shop, and we would have been way better off, right? So it would have saved Joe and his family the 6 hours of waiting around for everything to happen, and it would have saved me an additional trip up and down the mountain. I will, honey, if you're listening, please hit mute for 30 seconds. I will say I enjoyed the opportunity to drive up the hill without my wife and daughter in the truck just to see what it could do. I sent her a text message and said, okay, we're on our way back down the hill. And she was like, oh, I see you're driving a little faster without us in the car. And I was like, no, there's just no traffic.
So I found the water pump gasket for his Jeep. I put it on the script. If you guys want to take a look
I
at
saw that, and that's an interesting water pump gasket. So, fortunately, the Joe's Wrangler's under warranty. So they've already come and picked it up. They're taking it to a shop. They're gonna look at it and diagnose it. The problem is, like, I agree with you, Matt. Of all the vehicles that went through that, including a stock 1990 something Ford Expedition and Jose's 1994 Land Cruiser, the only one that had a problem was the Jeep. And
the Rubicon.
The Rubicon,
like
yeah.
The most capable one.
Right.
And when we did the Mojave and everybody went through the water crossing, the only one that had a problem was you and the Jeep.
You know, that I'm still impressed that the Renegade made it through that. Period. I don't want to drive my truck through that. No way.
No, I feel, and this article I was reading, I sent it to Joe to read. I feel like, you know, the Rubicon is marketed as the adventure off-road capable vehicle. How could it have a electrical
Such
system
a
that
huge-
dies, you know? And it
Yes.
wasn't a major puddle. It wasn't a major water crossing.
It wasn't deep. I mean,
No.
it was just more long than deep.
It was long and sticky, but it was not like hood height water level. I mean, it
No.
was
What are we talking about here?
mud.
Long and deep and sticky. But yeah, you know what? That is pretty shock. You know, it busted up. You know, the curtain or whatever inside. You know, the my truck. So, I think it looked. It was deeper than it looked.
yes.
And you know,
It was rutted out. It was rutted out for sure.
Yeah, I definitely got stuck in some ruts. I think that's what happened is I caught a rut
Yes.
and I hit it hard to
Yeah,
where
'cause
you know,
you-
something
When you went in normal, like, you know, and then all of a sudden you started, like, I could see you kicking, like your truck was bouncing back and forth, almost like it was being pushed in a direction. And I'm assuming your tires were just caught up in a rut, and you were just trying to navigate through. But it did not look healthy when you were going through there.
Yeah, you should see what that puddle looks like now. After I went through, tore it up, just blew it out. That's never mind. Please continue.
So Joe K is in the chat, and he said that he did it for the show, specifically for the content, and appreciate that, Joe. Tell Sarah she can't drive anymore, just in case. I don't know if it was her fault. I would like to give some credit to my sister-in-law, though. I mean, seriously, Susan has that. What year Expedition is that? It's a stock Ford.
It's like a late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s Ford Expedition.
Late 90s.
And she decided she wanted to drive instead of riding Casey's Jeep, and just bombed the whole time. She'd like, no problems.
Well, remember we did the
Clark's
Yeah, we
grade.
did those switchbacks.
Yes, Clark's grade.
the other side of the
mountain.
the mountain, and we had like an hour head start on her. And I think we were waiting for Dan, right?
Yes, from the 4x4 podcast.
yeah.
4x4, and she ended up getting there first.
Yes.
I think.
She
Just
did.
bombing that thing.
And there were,
Like, hey guys,
there were parts on those switchbacks where I had my rock sliders on the Tacoma up against the rocks trying to pivot around them because I was worried about going off the other side. And her truck was wider than mine, and she just mobbed it by herself, no spotters.
herself.
Yeah,
by herself. All right.
she's a champ, man. We need to get her something other than a Rubicon so it can go in water.
I think she's fine. What is she not done in that
Expedition.
that old Expedition? She's just killed it. She should do Mojave in that thing.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trailchasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott.
All right, back from the break, and we got a review. Jose, you said you found a new review on iTunes. What is it?
Yeah, so it came up last Thursday, titled "Great Fun." We got a 5-star review, so that's cool.
Woohoo!
It's from I Like Spoon. I like Spoon. I don't know.
Wait, well, hold on. Before we go any further, do you think he likes to be spooned? Like big spoon or little spoon? Which spoon?
Yeah, is he the little one or the big one?
Because sometimes I like being the little spoon.
I've heard.
We'll talk later.
Okay, go ahead. I like spoon.
So the review says these guys are hilarious. The chemistry between the hosts is fantastic. Consider them the Clarkson, Hammond, and May of 4x4 Talk. That's a pretty big.
That's props
that's a pretty.
right there.
Yeah, that's a huge honor.
Yeah.
The show has come a long way from the days of the
I
quote
even
unquote
know
grand
who those
adventure.
guys are.
What?
Sorry. I know who those guys are.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you didn't. I was like, what?
Oh no!
Isn't those
No,
aren't those the dudes from that
Top
Top Gun?
Top
Yeah,
Gear.
yeah. Top
So
Gear.
the show has come a long way from the days of the quote unquote grand adventure segment. Keep up the great work, guys, and bring on more Ranger talk.
Yes, more Ranger talk. Well,
We've discussed enough Ranger talk.
Oh, we've got some Ranger talk scheduled coming up. You're gonna love it. Well, thank you. I like Spoon. Going back to the Grand Adventure segment on the Jeep Talk Show. That's awesome, man. Appreciate it. If you,
That's a long time listener, huh?
yeah, I mean that was 2015 is when that started, man. 2015 that Grand Adventure segment started.
I like Tim right there. I consider those guys the Matt, Jose, and Cody of TV.
Oh, well, I consider those guys making a hell of a lot more money than we are. That's for sure.
You assume? I don't know.
Well, I know that we make
no.
zero, so anything more than zero.
We're running at a deficit right now.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's cool. I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Please, if you guys feel the need, go give us a review on iTunes and subscribe on your podcast player and subscribe on the live feed. I mean, subscribe on YouTube. I've got a couple people that have asked me, how do I get notifications when you guys go live? We're
That little bell.
Yeah, click the bell, subscribe, click the bell. We are going to try to work it out so that we're doing it consistently at whatever time Monday nights. We know it's going to be Monday nights. The part that we're struggling with, or that I'm struggling with, is when we schedule guests, trying to figure out our schedule working with their schedule, and do they want to be on live or what? So it may, like, 1 week be 6 o'clock, 1 week be 7 o'clock, but we're trying to get more consistent with knowing what that's going to be like and promoting it. And the other thing is, and this is as an example, we had a guest scheduled for tonight, and there was a family emergency. And if you're listening, our thoughts are with you guys. I hope everything works out this week with you and your family. And it's a totally understandable. They got to they had to reschedule. We get that a lot. We get a lot of reschedules and things that don't work out, and that's totally fine. We appreciate people that are coming on the show and giving us their time.
It's probably because they, oh man, I just signed up for some podcast, and then they give us a listen and go, dude, I ain't going on there.
I'm not going to be on
That's
that.
those guys.
So we're trying to work through that to get a little bit better. So Shai Zahibi said he just hit the like button on YouTube. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I found an article that I thought was interesting. I wanted to talk about. So I found this on Autoblog. The auction site bringatrailer.com is auctioning the classic Back to the Future 1985 Toyota pickup and the 1981 DeLorean time machine. Jose, you said you're on that website regularly?
Bring a trailer. Yeah, that's like dude, it's the most eclectic like auction site for cars. You see the most beautiful vintage cars, and then you see like a 91 Tercel 5-speed.
Really? Really? I don't think I've ever heard of this until
Yeah,
this episode came. I mean, this article came up.
Yeah, you'll find like the best restored like Tercel ever, and it'll be on that website, on that Bring a Trailer.
For how much?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, some cars on here go for big money, like 6 figures.
Well, I will tell you on this one, like the DeLorean is cool, right? But no one. I mean, I don't know.
Really.
No one's really clamoring for the DeLorean. But when you look,
truck
yes,
the truck is gonna sell this thing.
Yeah,
this bundle.
1985 Toyota Extra Cab SR5, and this is the black pickup truck that Marty McFly wanted really bad, and that he ended up getting in one of the scenarios. And if you look at the pictures, man, it is pristine. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I will tell you that this is one of those vehicles as a kid that you looked at on the movie and you're like, I want to be an off-roader. I want that truck.
Yep.
I mean, we've talked about this a couple times with the KC Highlights team, but I mean, this thing is absolutely amazing. What do you think?
So what's cool about this website, sorry, Cody,
Huh?
is that they do their research on the cars, or they try to get as much background on their vehicles as they can, like any backstory, how many owners, maintenance records. So like they're trying to make it to where it's like a reliable purchase.
Yeah, and it's so right now it's got 20 bids. The current bid is $30,000. There's 2 days, 16 hours left.
So do you get the shoes and the skateboard and the hoverboard too?
Oh,
that.
dude.
I saw that.
Those shoes alone are worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
I think they're like a couple grand, aren't they?
Yeah,
The shoes?
No, they're like 10, 15 grand, dude.
And-
Oh
those
my
shoes.
God.
and it's got the video camera that he was carrying when they were in the in Doc's studio, and the vectors. Go ahead.
Yeah, he has it has the newspaper, you know, when it says
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
when it changes when he got caught.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
$30K for both of those. That seems ridiculous to me. There's no
it's
way.
It's gonna go up, dude.
It's
Last couple, it's gonna be a bid war for
yeah.
sure.
At the end, I think at the end of the thing, at the end of the bid auction, it's just going to go crazy, right? I mean, that's for those two vehicles and all of that nostalgia. That's gotta be $100,000, man.
That's gonna be like 70K for sure, dude.
Yeah.
70, 80K. Because that truck is really a unicorn, dude. I mean, it's an 85, so that's the last year of the solid front axle for those trucks and the first year of the electronic fuel injection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's the one everybody wants, man. You want that 85 Toyota pickup because of the solid front axle, and it's not carbureted anymore. It's fuel injected. They kept making the 22R carbureted after the fact, but that was the first year of the EFI and the last year of the solid axle, front axle.
This thing is so awesome. Like it is gorgeous. I would love, just cruising this thing around, man. It's completely like pristine. There's no road grime. There's no rust. There's nothing. How much would you pay for this, Jose?
15,000 for the truck.
15?
Yeah. Dude, you're not going to find a better example of that.
Well,
I think it's
15
perfect.
seems low.
Really? You think that's low?
Yes, this is the Marty McFly truck.
Is this the actual
Yes,
one?
it's the actual Marty McFly truck from the movie, and it's in pristine condition.
I think 30K would be a fair
For just
30 to 35
for just the truck.
I would only want the truck.
Yeah.
'Cause if I won the bid, you'd see that DeLorean on the same site like the next following hour.
For $12.
Yeah,
Explaining how this is the genuine DeLorean that he rode in. Who gives a shit?
Did you see in the
But yeah,
pictures?
35K for that truck, I think is a fair deal.
Did you see in
Considering the provenance.
the what?
Provenance?
What's that?
Prominence?
Background?
That's a new word. Everybody look up provenance. Did you see on the dashboard they have a flux capacitor plugged in?
Into the truck
in
or
the-
to the
In the
DeLorean?
truck. I've seen those on. You can buy them and plug them into your cigarette lighter, and it's just a flux capacitor that lights up. But I am amazed at how clean this truck is. I mean, this is definitely a collector's item. I would
Yeah,
love to have
it's
it.
cool.
That's
Would
it,
you wheel
Matt.
it?
It's just cool.
Would you wheel it?
No,
I'd rather have the General Lee myself. But
no.
you know. Oh yeah, the General Lee, especially after they destroyed like 200 of them. It just makes that even more a collector's item.
No,
You're talking about cruising that truck. I mean, it's a dope truck. That's really that is nice. But I'd rather cruise like a 1969 Charger. If we're just cruising. Now, if we're gonna go mobbing and hit some of the trails. Was it like White Mountain or something? I watched a video on White Mountain this weekend. That I don't know if we could do that.
I want to try.
That thing probably could. You think, Jose?
I don't know. It doesn't have lockers.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's no lockers.
No, it doesn't have lockers. It's leaf spring front and rear. It'd be bouncy as hell. Like Jose was asking if I'd wheel it. No, that would be entirely a cruise around town vehicle. I would not wheel that thing.
Mm.
You know, you can take it to the lake with Jenny.
Tim says, I'd love to see Matt try and slide across the hood of the General Lee.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll totally do it.
Yeah, that's the last time you'll see that hood, though.
Yeah,
It's a one-time slide.
The condition of the hood,
Yeah,
but I'll look pretty cool sliding across it
oh,
for sure.
that's yeah. Anyways, I thought it was an interesting find. Like I think that's a super cool, iconic vehicle, and I think that given the opportunity to drive that thing, I would absolutely love it. They do have a 1973 Ford Bronco on there for $10,000. Ends in 2 days. That's a good price.
I bet you can get a lot of good deals right now, dude.
Oh yeah, nobody's spending money, man. Nobody.
No.
If you've got money
Cash right now, burning a hole in your pocket. Right now is the time to buy.
Yeah, because nobody, the people that are selling stuff, they're selling it because they want or need the money. And
Exactly.
and people that have the money are probably going to try to hold on to it until later. See how things
until it loses value, and
Yeah.
then you're like, man, I should have bought some shit.
Should have bought that truck.
10K.
Exactly.
I want this 73 Bronco. I've never heard of this site, Jose. So I'm going to have to start paying attention. No, I won't, because if I do, I'll start buying. I want to buy stuff. I say,
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I go on it every day and I get mad because I can't.
I know.
Or like you see something, you're like, dude, I think I can buy that, but it's not gonna happen.
then you go look for executive approval, and
Yeah, it's gonna get vetoed real quick.
yes, yes. I wonder if I could convince Tammy to drive this 1973 Bronco as a daily. Get rid of her Grand Cherokee. No, you don't think?
Yeah, right, dude.
Right.
You don't think?
To the mechanic. Drive it.
Well, no, dude. Like to drive to work and back. She would look super cool in this truck.
If she worked at the Wendy's right across down the road from here, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like right down the street, but
If she cleaned your neighbor's house,
yeah.
if she drove it, wheeled down to the corner, maybe.
Well,
She drove it. She worked at the park, maybe.
we had talked recently about it'd be fun to have a classic vehicle to restore, and I wonder if I could convince her to do this.
Bro, they're money pits. All right, money pits.
Yeah, but it's not a day. It's something you're cruising around in. No, because I'd want to wheel the crap out of this thing. I wouldn't be able to just like leave it. I'd have to
Trust
take it
me,
out
you
on the trail.
You don't need a classic car in your life right now, dude.
I do not. I do not at all. But it doesn't mean I don't want one.
Well, right, the want's there. Just trust me, though. Classic cars are a pain.
So are you saying that from experience or?
Oh yeah, dude. I was in that VW life for a long
right.
time.
That's right. And your
Then,
dad does all the restorations
Dad
on the
has
buses.
Yeah, he's in the VW scene. Can you believe he has more followers than we do?
Yes,
I still can't believe it.
100%. Jose's dad is Insta famous, y'all. Like,
Yeah, he's for sure Insta famous, which is crazy. And then you look if you guys want to go check him out, it's Bus Crazy on Instagram. But you're like, dude, that's not your dad.
you're like,
People are gonna be like, dude, that's not your dad.
you're like, that's some hippie from
Yeah,
Southern California.
Santana's roadie, dude.
That's funny. So if you had the money, Jose, would you buy a classic vehicle, and if so, which one?
Man, I've been getting that itch to buy another Volkswagen.
Tammy's dad just bought one. Tammy's dad just bought like a 78 Beetle for no reason other than to have something to play with.
Yeah, I mean, I would get a 76 or below. That way you don't have to smog it. Because I don't even know how you'd get those things to pass smog, dude.
Maybe it was 76.
Dude, you go so far down the rabbit hole on those things. Like you're spending like You might get a great deal on the body, but an engine on one of those things, if you want like a go fast engine,
That's what I say
10K.
about me. You might get a great deal on the body, but I ain't got no engine.
But yeah, dude, engines for those things, easy 10K. Transmission,
What?
another 3
For a
Yeah.
bug motor?
Yeah, but dude, this thing's gonna launch everything on the street.
Okay, well, if you're gonna go that route, then you might as well make a Baja Bug. Turn it into a Baja Bug and
That's
go
another
off roading
can of
with
worms,
it.
dude. That's another can of worms. All that shit's expensive, man.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. Matt, if you could buy a classic vehicle, what would it be?
So I talk about like my old cars that I've had. I used to have a Mustang. I had a 70 Mustang that was really cool. It just fit my style, like an old muscle car.
Is that
It
the really
wasn't-
long one?
No, it was just before they got long and ugly, like the Mach ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was like a 72. So 70, 71 were like the last of the
Yeah, it looks like the
cooler
classic.
looking ones.
Yeah.
So it was a fun car to drive. I had dual exhaust on it. It had a single or a 2-barrel, but I ended up putting a 4-barrel and a manifold and all that just to
Let it, take the restrictor plate off. Let the dragon breathe a little bit. Huh?
yeah. But it was a fun car to drive. Definitely looked cool. People like, when it was all clean and nice, people definitely checked it. I definitely got some looks. And then I had a 72 Dart. Dude, when I was in high school, nobody gave a shit about Dodge Darts at all. And it had a V8 in it. It had a 318. I bought it for like $700. It just sat in a lot, in a grass lot in my buddy's, dad's lot in Elsinore. And I changed the gas. It sat for 7 years. I changed the gas, cleaned up the filter or whatever, fired right up, drove it home. That thing was a fun, cool. That thing looked even cooler because it had the torsion bars. So to lower the front end, you just
crank
really?
Crank it up a little bit.
That's it. And it lowered the front end. I rebuilt the front end on it. That car, I was going to drop a big block in. I was going to stuff a 440, 727 trans, 8 3/4 inch rear end. I was going to drag race that thing.
What happened?
I spun it on the freeway. And I didn't total it or anything, but it was all downhill from there. But I can't afford either one of those cars now. I make, significantly a bit more money than I did when I owned those cars. And now I can't afford either one of those cars. It's like ridiculous when I think about it. But if I were to choose like a car, God, you know what? I've really because Michael's really into Hot Wheels, and he's Daddy, look at this car, like an old '69 Roadrunner.
Oh,
I
really?
think those are just menacing looking cars, with like big old fat slicks in the back, front end lowered, just like a black, like matted black paint. I think I'd go, with a 440 or, a big block. Yeah, that's probably what I'd go with.
Really?
Just pound some pavement, scare people.
I've
You
always
seen that movie Death Proof?
No.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Never mind.
Why is there a Roadrunner prominently featured in it?
There is a Charger that's just like murdered out. It's all black. The
Chargers are amazing too. I mean, that was my favorite car growing up because the Dukes of Hazzard, obviously.
it's a cool movie. You should check it out.
Okay.
I've always I'm not a big Chevy guy, but I've always liked the 60s Nova. The more square slanted one before they went to the rounder Chevelle.
The Nova 2.
Is that what it is? It's the 2-door. Every time I see one that's redone, I'm like, oh my God, what is that? I got to have it. And it ends up being a Nova. I think the Chevy Nova is a super cool car. I've always had a thing for the 66, early 60s Mustangs, but I think I would buy this Bronco. A 1973 Bronco would be perfect classic car. As my wife peeks into the studio and hears us talking about this, honey, can I have a?
Like, we're not getting a classic.
Can I have
Bronco.
money to buy a Bronco? I found one for $10,000.
Start selling some shit.
So Matt, were you a big street racer back in the day?
So I never had when I had my Mustang, and neither one of those cars were very fast. They were just, my Dart or my Mustang.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, we had auto shop in Montclair. We had a dyno. So
Crazy,
dude, it was great. My auto shop teacher at the time, so this is 91, 92, was like, this is the greatest class I've ever had, because we had a guy with a Chevy Nova, like a 70 or 68 Nova. There was an El Camino. There's a couple of Mustangs.
Speaking of movies, did you guys ever see The Mexican with Julia Roberts and Brad Pitt when he gets into that El Camino? Oh, never mind.
No.
Obviously, I can tell by the look on your face you haven't seen it. It's great. Great movie, by the way. El Camino.
To finish the question, yes, in high school, we would, there was probably 8 muscle cars in auto shop.
Yeah.
And that's all we did all week was put different carburetors,
Yeah.
ignition, distributors, just whatever, tune up our cars, and then go hit the drag races in Ontario Friday nights.
Yeah.
That was, probably a year or two.
The Ontario Speedway?
No. Yeah, no, just like Mission.
Opening day.
And then there was another place by the 3M warehouse, kind of near the truck stop there off of Milliken.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I used to street race a lot back in the day.
What?
In all those industrial areas over there.
Yep.
So, yep. So like Airport Drive. So
Yep.
So that Chevron that's right off Milliken by the mills, dude, it would get so packed. It was like Fast and Furious. You know how they all park their cars?
Oh, this is pre-Mills. So
yeah.
when I was drag racing there, we were on the other side of the freeway. That truck stop.
Yeah, where the truck stops at.
And
yes.
all the
but
all
just
the people
like you
on
said,
all the people on the East Coast are like, "What's a Mills?"
Yeah, the Ontario
Ontario Mills.
There's a big mall called the Ontario Mills Mall which is like where you went in the late '90s when it was built.
Or you still go to some people.
Okay.
No, but I got my driver's license in 2001, 2002, like as Fast and Furious was coming out. And dude, I'm telling you, that Chevron by the mills.
Matt, what were you doing in 2001, 2002 when Jose was getting his driver's license?
Man, honestly, I don't even remember. I think I just got married. I don't know, man. Probably working. Working.
Yeah, well, 2001, you'd been in the AC world for 6 years at that point.
Yeah.
Jose's just
screwing around, man.
What's up?
Jose, you're just a baby.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I'm 80, dude.
wait till you're 46, dude. You feel 112.
Oh God. But yeah, dude, that was crazy, man. Like I would stay out all night, man. Like I would come home and the sun would be coming up. It's pretty crazy, dude.
That is funny to hear you say that, because we've had this conversation before off air about how like the party scene that you were in, and I just don't. You were such a dad. You were such a homebody dad. I cannot picture you as a partier.
Well, no, I've always been like a wallflower. Like I was just like I've always stayed in the background. I was never like the talk of the group, but I had like a lot of friends in different groups. But I was not like the what would you say, the most sociable guy? I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, dude, that scene was crazy. I stopped because I got caught. Yeah. So that was it for me.
All right. Moving on to one more topic I found interesting. Truck Trend Network has a post, the best used trucks under 10K, without looking at the post, guys, what do you think? What do you think's on there?
Under 10K?
Under 10K.
I'll give you two right off the bat.
Okay.
Nissan Frontier, Nissan Xterra.
Oh, Nissan Frontier's on there for sure. So I'll run down it.
So what for 10 grand, what year Frontier are you getting?
Let's see.
2018.
2019.
Matt's truck.
My truck is now worth, I still owe twice what it's worth.
Oh, that's funny. So it's got a 2006 to 2012 Ford Ranger, which, you know what? I was thinking about this because when we were on the trail, quit shaking your head, jackass. when we were on the trail this weekend, I saw
like three
of them. Yes, there was 3 of the older Rangers, and I'm wondering if we talked about it like with the Frontier. The new Frontier is gonna spawn some interest in the old Frontier. I wonder if the new Ranger is going to kick some of that in for the older Ranger. The only downside I see to those Rangers is that they're
hard to find, dude.
Well,
at this point,
and they're 2-door, best case scenario extra cab. There's no 4 doors. They don't have any of the 4 doors. But I mean, they were good trucks. My dad had one. Late mid 90s, he had one. That was a great truck. I wonder if there's going to be more interest in these Rangers now. No,
Why?
Well,
because you have one now, and now you're paying attention to it?
No.
Back in the day, my buddy had one right after high school. Dude, his dad and he they were into off-road racing. They were it was like a family thing, and then his Ranger, dude, he had 33s on it. They were like the biggest tires I'd ever seen in my.
What I'm saying is, Matt, is when the new model Ranger comes out and there's all these magazine articles and commercials and promotions, and you start to see the Ford Ranger out there, and someone's like, "Hey, I'm looking for a used truck." They start doing searching on Ford Ranger. Up until 2018, the words Ford Ranger were nowhere in the vernacular. No one was talking about them because they hadn't made them in 10 years. I think just the fact that they're talking about them now, that they're out there now, I'm wondering if that would prompt people to look for used Rangers more and maybe have some kind of a surge in the market. I don't know. I think when a new model vehicle comes out, like the new the 2021 Nissan, when all that promotion and marketing starts happening, there's a trickle-down effect that is going to cause the used car market in that specific model to get an uptick. I have no basis of information to back that up, though.
That's kind of what Jose said, basically, about the current Frontier.
Yeah.
Once the new one comes out, people are going to want the old one. I still don't understand the logic necessarily, because it's the same Frontier that's been around forever.
No, not necessarily.
They're going to realize that it's a capable truck, and it's like that truck to a lot of people is not even a thought. But when the new Frontier comes out and it does whatever it does, I'm sure it's going to be a great truck. They're like, well, I can get a 3-year-old Frontier for how much, and then.
Yeah. So, I mean, imagine that, Motor Trend does a huge article on the 2021 Frontier and talks about how it's the greatest truck in the world, right? You read that article and you go, oh, man, that's awesome. I can't afford a 2021. Oh, but look, I can get a 2019 or I can get a 2018. You know what I mean? I think the new model year, the promotion and marketing for the new model year will create some knock-on effect for the previous version. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know. Again, I have no factual basis for this, but I would like to see if the.
It's okay. We don't need facts on this show. Let's just extrapolate and just say, you know what? I think it's going to outsell the Gladiator. Whatever.
I would just like to see the older Ranger make a comeback and see more of them on the trail. So. If you're in the market for a truck, go look at the Ford Ranger just because.
Well, most of the old Rangers are in the fender of your new Ranger.
What?
They've been crushed. At this
point. Dick. Okay. Wow. The next one on this list is the 2005 to 2012 Chevy Colorado.
Okay. Those are like the really square ones, right?
Yeah, the
That was
square
the
first gen Colorado.
problem with that one is it was a 5-cylinder.
It was a 5. There was it was the most boring truck in the world. It was a 5-cylinder. There was nothing exciting about it. They did have a quote ZR2 for it back then, but there was like 3 of them. Like you can't find them anywhere. My uncle had one of those and he loved it. He loved the crap out of that truck and it drove him up and down the mountain for years. It was beat to absolute crap because he drove it up and down the mountain in the snow. He refused to put chains on it and he would bypass the chains by going up and over hills and stuff. But I never had any interest in those trucks at all.
No, those were like afterthoughts or
they were just work trucks, dude. Like just little
fleet vehicles.
Fleet vehicles.
Government fleet
And
vehicles.
I think the 5-cylinder is kind of a death nail for it. You know, like 5. Come on, pick it's 4 or 6. Make up your mind. Make up your mind, Chevy.
But Chevy did that for a while.
5.
The Trailblazer was 5-cylinder, the Colorado and the Hummer, the H3. The H3 was a 5-cylinder. The H3 was a 5-cylinder Trailblazer with a different body on it. That power plant was horrible. The next one.
Let's stick them in all of our cars. What other car can we stuff this piece of garbage in?
Well, what happened was
throw it into it. Make it let's come out with a cheap Corvette for people and just throw that motor in.
They made so many of the motors before the vehicles were ready to go. They were like, oh, we got to put this motor in something.
What are we going to do with these motors? You can dangle them behind a ship, and when it wants to stop, you could drop it and just drop one of those motors with a cable to it. That's it.
That's funny. The next one is a 2004 to 2011 Dodge Dakota, and I like this truck. This was the the squarer one.
Didn't they have a V8 in those?
Yeah, they had a V8s. They were a little bit bigger than the other mid-sized trucks. They were probably equivalent to, I bet if we looked at the specs, the 2011 Dakota is probably the same size as the Gen 3 Tacoma and the Ranger. They were just a little bit bigger than the old Tacomas and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Casey had a Dakota at one point. I loved that truck. I wonder what you can get for those. You probably can't get much aftermarket support as far as lifts or.
That's the problem. Like you won't be able to find any parts for it. It's all going to be custom made.
I could see throwing a spacer lift on that thing if you could find a spacer lift and some 32-inch tires and having a hell of a good time with that thing. With a V8 in it. All right. The next one is 2004 to 2018 Nissan Frontier.
Yeah.
2018. This is the under $10,000. Just joking about that. Lo and behold, great.
It says the Nissan Frontier is the longest running midsize nameplate without a refresh. Fortunately, a new Frontier is coming in 2021. What this means, however, is great parts availability for used trucks. In addition, the Nissan Frontier is the newest pickup you can buy used for less than $10,000, with the 2017 and 2018 models frequently available at that price range. But that's probably a 2017.
Yeah.
Obviously not 4-wheel drive, not Pro 4X, probably crap tons of miles. I mean, we know for a fact the 2018 Pro 4X
comes with a weed eater and the rack for all your shovels and everything already on there. Your shovels and rakes.
But I mean,
and a ramp for your mower.
Oh, look, it comes with a dirt bike ramp.
That's not dirt bike. But it's consistent with what we've said all along, for the last year is bang for your buck. You can get this truck and go have a good time. Mm-hmm. I still absolutely agree with that. The next one is a 2006 to 2014 Honda Ridgeline.
That's not a truck.
I know.
I don't think that's a truck either. I don't get it.
That is, I mean, I know it's like a 4-foot long bed, right? It's not even a 5-foot bed, and it's an SUV that they forgot to put the back on.
Yeah,
and the new one is even worse. The new one looks like a minivan with no back.
Well, the one that the 2000, this one that the pictures on, it doesn't even have like a cutout for the bed. Like there's no divide from the body to
No.
the bed, like a truck.
Yeah, it's all unibody. It's
A unibody.
I mean,
it has independent suspension all around.
and I'm sure this post isn't geared towards off-roaders, you know.
Is it implied? I mean, no.
No, it
It's
just says best used truck. It doesn't say best used truck for off-roading, just best used truck for 10K. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't. And then the last one, a 2005 to 2012 Toyota Tacoma. For 10K, can you actually get a Gen 2 Tacoma for 10K anywhere?
It's gonna have like
A billion
500,000
miles.
Dude, I think that 400 we saw up on the mountain was like $3,000.
Yeah. and that thing had been exploded and dragged through the mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, agreed. The Gen 2 Tacoma is a phenomenal truck. It's an absolutely awesome vehicle. You know, and maybe a 2-wheel drive with quote high miles for a Toyota would be 10K. Without the extra cab, you know, a single cab or something. But I don't know. I just see that the Tacomas are usually way more expensive than that. And then
Agreed.
It says the used half-ton trucks for under 10K is the 2004 to 2014 Ford F-150. The 2002 to 2008 Dodge Ram. Man, Matt, do you remember my 2003 Ram?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a 2000
smashed up on the side.
Yeah,
Right?
I had a 2003 Dodge Ram with the 4x4 package. The thing was amazing. I loved that truck. And I was up in Arrowhead, and I made a right-hand turn and didn't realize that the embankment came down and then out into the road, and I rolled the rocker panel over the embankment, and it was all ice and hard, and it just crushed the door side. And I didn't care. It was paid off, and my plan was to save up enough money to buy a new truck, and then I was going to rip the body panels off of that thing and turn it into a complete desert off-road vehicle. Just make it a full pre-runner. And then I got rear-ended by a Jeep Grand Cherokee on the 57 freeway, and it tacoed the truck in half. I was so bummed.
Build quality, huh? Superior build quality.
So bummed. 2005 to 2014 Chevy Silverado 1500. That's the Chevy with the angry eyes straight from the factory.
The classic. That was
that classic? That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then 2007 to 2014 Tundra. Again, can you get a 2014 Tundra for $10,000? Maybe again.
No. Dude, it's gonna have a lot of miles on it.
And
it's gonna be like a work truck, like just shingle cab.
2004 to 2015 Nissan Titan. Yeah, I don't. I mean, some of these obviously oh, here we go. There's a whole segment used 4x4 trucks under 10K. Here we go.
Frontier and Xterra are on that list.
Frontier is the first one. Let's see here. The only one it doesn't say. It just says that it's got a picture of the Frontier, and it says that looking at all the available options, if we were to declare the best bang for the buck off-roader under 10K, it would have to be the drum roll Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. The Frontier Pro 4X comes loaded with off-road goodies such as skid plates, an electronic rear locking differential, good shocks, and decent tires. It's also available with manual transmission and a stout 4.0-liter V6 engine. So somebody smarter than us has said it's bang for buck. Everybody go out and buy your Nissan Frontier.
Come on, guys. Let's do it so that we can all get the aftermarket support going, and we'll have some options.
You need to start your own club, like your own. You need to start your own Instagram page and club to start like convincing people to buy the Frontier.
Look, I barely make it to the podcast every week.
That is
I
true.
don't know if I can start.
That is true.
You want me to start pages or something on Instagram? You know,
That is
can't
it.
I just like things?
That's
Seems like enough.
It's a 100% true statement. Absolutely. So what else? I mean, is there anything on that list that you notice under 10K? No Jeeps listed on that list. Well, I guess it was trucks. So I guess that if it was
It's a truck.
SUVs, yeah. Nah, well, but I'd be willing to bet that if there was a SUV under 10K that the Jeep would show up. You know what I mean? So we can't really blame it for that. But I thought it was interesting. I hopefully people are out there have money to buy a truck right now, and if you're trying to find one, there's a good article there on what was that, Autoblog? What do I find?
Hopefully you have
Truck
4-wheel
Trend.
drive.
Motor Trend.
Truck Trend. What were you saying, Matt?
Hopefully you have 4-wheel drive, and you're getting out soon, and you're exploring the deserts and mountains of Southern California, or wherever you're at. Maybe you're exploring the malls in your mall crawlers or whatever. And
just don't get your Wrangler wet.
Just don't get your Wrangler wet. That sounded gross. And then keep an eye out for Thunderdome. We haven't mentioned Thunderdome in a couple of weeks.
Dude, you've mentioned it every week for the last. I was listening to this week's episode, and you mentioned it again.
Did I mention that? No.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Last week you talked about Thunderdome, and you talked about screw you guys, I'm going home. Like you Thunderdome has been a topic on this show for 4 weeks straight.
I'm just saying.
Well, they're going to be our overseers. We got to
exactly
rub elbows with the higher ups.
Yeah, you got to make. I'm trying to make inroads, and it's for all of us. If we make those inroads with with those leaders, we won't be the participants in the Thunderdome. We'll be like the commentators. That's the angle I'm working for.
That's what we're working for.
Well, you let me know how that
with that.
Yeah, you let me know how that works out for you. But you seem to be obsessed with the Thunderdome. I think it's the outfits. I think you want to wear some of those outfits. That was the joke. When do we start seeing people walking around in those outfits? That's when shit's starting to hit the fan. It's like, oh no! When you see people walking around in their dirt bike outfits, with the boots and everything, but they have spikes on all their stuff. That look out, it's happening.
Did you see me with my mud terrain shoulder pads?
Did we
put up tire?
Did we talk about? Did we talk about Wasteland Weekend? We did. We talked about Wasteland Weekend, the full-on apocalypse festival out in the desert where you can do that. You can dress up Mad Max and go play Apocalypse for a week.
It's just not going to be in the desert this year. It's going to be like in West Covina or somewhere in the San Gabriel Valley.
I'll meet up at Mount Sac or Cal Poly.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is you're not going to have to go far for the crazy. What's it called?
Wasteland Weekend.
Wasteland. It'll be coming to a neighborhood near you. Wasteland Weekend.
I don't want that. I like my malls and my shopping centers. I don't want to.
Well, you don't have a choice, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's again, you just get ready for it, and try and think of the positives. As when the gangs with the giant converted buses with cages in the back, and they're just hooping people up with like these crazy contraptions, and they're just throwing you right in the back. Just try and think of the positive there. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. Yes,
but you don't have
to worry about food anymore.
Yeah. There you go. You don't have to worry about your mortgage. You don't have to at all. At all. You don't have to worry about mortgage or car payments.
None of
that. Yeah. There you go. Did it.
I would rather have mortgage and car payments than Apocalypse. That's just me. That's my personal mind.
You know what? I'm starting to convince myself Apocalypse it's not too bad. Like maybe it's not that bad. Just thinking about not worrying about.
Do you believe you would survive?
I don't know about that. I don't even know if I'd want to survive. I'm just saying, like,
I don't.
What am I saying?
I don't know what you're saying. All right. With that, anything else, guys, you want to talk about this week before we move on and close out the live feed?
No, you didn't want to talk about UFOs or nothing anymore. So.
Yeah. You don't want to talk about Lee Harvey Oswald and the other shooters.
You don't want to talk about Marilyn Manson
dropping acid.
Dropping acid with Marilyn Manson and Charles Manson. That's a whole nother show.
All right. Well, with that said, then we're gonna close out this episode. Thank you for all of you that left us the review and the voicemails and the emails that came in, and for those of you that joined us in the live feed, we appreciate it. We are, like I said, we're going to try to do this more consistently on Monday nights, and we do have a couple of interviews scheduled coming up. And we're going to try to work that out, and we'll try to do some pre-promotion. I get weary of the pre-promotion stuff because I want to, if there's a cancellation, I don't want anybody to feel bad. But we'll work on that. We're trying to figure this out as we go, guys. I think you know that. All right, man. Well, you guys, I appreciate you spending some time. Let's figure out what our next steps are, and then we. I still want to have a conversation about what we're going to do when it's over and whether or not Mojave's a thing. So we still got a lot to figure out.
Yep.
All right, good times. Let's do it.
I'm Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Next and Tire. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DIRT. Thank you to Ryan Wrangler with all of the music.